Good afternoon, everybody. My name is McKinley. I am the founder and head honcho at McKinley Irvin, which is a regional family law firm based in Seattle, Washington. And in honor of being here in England, I'd like to borrow from Lewis Carroll a little bit and tell you a little nonsensical story about a serious subject, which is my point in today's talk, which is that the ABA needs to undertake a wholesale change in the ethics rules, and particularly 5.4, which currently prohibits non-lawyers from ownership or investment in law firms. So I hope you'll see some characters from Lewis Carroll's stories like the dodo bird up here on the tree. So since law practice began in the United States, it's been a self-regulated affair. A lot of that regulation was promulgated on the premise that it was going to protect clients, but of course it was also protecting lawyers. And as we all probably know, lawyers, they don't like change, they don't like to hear it, they don't want to talk about it, and they don't want to see it, particularly when it applies to the lawyer monopoly, and I would suggest that that is not a winning strategy for the future. Lawyers are represented by state bar associations, and they are regulated by those associations along with state courts. The ABA, the American Bar Association, does not have regulatory authority over attorneys, but they promulgate rules, model rules that most states adopt and follow. So we all know that there are these various frightening fish in the water around our little island, and the bar, instead of enforcing the rules, its own rules, such as prosecuting the unauthorized practice of law in a consistent and vigorous manner, or better yet, engaging these fish in some productive manner, it's decided to go fishing. And so what I like to think of is it's caught this sea bass that represents fear, denial, and inertia. And so the bar has kind of chosen to take this fish and put it over its head and wander about and do its thing, in the hope that, everything will sort of turn out all right in the end. But in the meantime, we've got these little scary fish nibbling away at the island, not least of which are our clients, who they're not very happy. That's what we know. And so you got to make your clients happy because they pay the bills. And then we've got the courts and the access to justice advocates, and everybody, I hope everybody knows, that you got to keep the judges happy. But for instance, in my great state of Washington, our Supreme Court recently, on its own motion, has created out of thin air an entirely new practitioner. And they call that person or that category a limited legal license technician. And in the written order that brought this creature to life, the court went out of its way to let all of us in the Washington State Bar know that it has absolutely no interest in protecting the monopoly status of attorneys. So, with friends like that, you don't need a lot of enemies as a lawyer, but there are other scary fish in the water around our little island, including all you very smart non-lawyer entrepreneurs and the accounting firms who'd like to muscle in on a $250 billion a year plus revenue generating profession or industry. We've got the foreign legal services firms like the UK who've already gone through some liberalization. And I'm sure that there are some very smart firms here in London that would like to take market share and steal talent from U.S. firms. And then there's fed up U.S. lawyers like me who have spent the past 20-some years of my career bootstrapping a very successful law firm. We've been able to dominate in our region. We've created a lot of different models and ways of doing things that has made us very successful. And we're like a lot of companies at our stage, which means that we need some capital and we need really great talent beyond just lawyers to help us grow out into a national market. So what we have is a bar that is not responsive or not responsible to its own members, and it's not living up to its social mandate to be the vanguard of the legal system in the United States. But it doesn't have to be that way. The bar can pull its head out of the bass, right? And we have right now the ability to make our own rules. What I'm afraid of is that eventually we're going to have something like the Legal Services Board, and the sort of chaos that, from my perspective, has descended on legal services in the UK, which I think could be great and it could be dangerous. So if we can figure out how to bring all these interests together and make things better in law practice. As a bar, we're the change makers, we're the drivers of change. I would say tongue in cheek to you that we'll all live happily ever after. The end. Thank you.